announcing our Kickstarter project, and more. Coming up on today's episode of the latest in tech news. Hey Gadgeteer, you're just in time for the latest episode of the world's only 3-in-1 show on tech, gadgets, and gaming news. That's right, this is the latest in tech news. My name is Taylor Merrick, and obviously our feature story today is, well, a new Kickstarter announcement that we'll be getting into. We'll also be looking at Microsoft wanting to eliminate passwords. This is something we covered on a previous show, but a little bit more in depth. We'll also be looking at Spotify's plan for serving you podcast suggestions. We'll also be looking at Huawei's first television, which is could be a world's first for 5G and 8K. We'll also be looking at Samsung unveiling a vertical TV. We'll also be looking at Epic Games buying the studio behind Rocket League and maybe some of the controversy surrounding that. And then we'll also be looking at an interesting Kickstarter project that I was looking into and I found, and I figured I'd share it with you guys. But first, if you're new here, click that subscribe button so that you don't miss out on an episode. And if you could leave us a like, but don't do that until, well, you feel ready that this deserves a like, and you can simply do that by clicking like down below this video. And yes, this is available as a video, but did you know it's also available as a podcast too? So yeah, plenty of options. iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, Overcast, Google, everywhere. So before we can get into today's news, let's take a look at, well, did you know this about tech? Every single time I see that reminder, I go, oh, I have to update the graphic for it, and then I never do it. Sorry, guys. You're my excuse for laziness is you're getting an old video overlay. Anyways, did you know that surgeons who grew up playing video games make 37% fewer mistakes? Think about it. Your next surgeon could be known for playing a video game. No, only if he doesn't make that a career choice and he decides to become a surgeon instead. But yeah, becoming a surgeon, you need a lot of hand-eye coordination and very steady hands, obviously. And did you know that the astronauts of Apollo 11 couldn't get life insurance, so instead they signed photos that their families could auction in case the landing went wrong? And you're like, well, what does this have to do with technology? Well, it's kind of important. Space exploration, going to the moon, going in outer space. Yeah. Hey, do you insurance companies do life insurance in case something happens on a spaceship that might malfunction, I don't know, blow up, or I suffocate or die in space or on the moon or somewhere? Does that cover that? And insurance companies go, that's not in our contract or our information. What? I don't know. I don't know. No. The answer is no. So there you go. In case you didn't know that, well, now you're a little bit smarter today for having heard. Moving right along to today in tech history, being that today is May 1st, 2019. On this day in 1964, Dartmouth professors launched time-sharing system. Thomas Kurst and John Kemeny launched a time-sharing system at Dartmouth College using their simple, user-friendly language, BASIC. And basically, if any of you listening are actual computer nerds, you know what BASIC is. Kurtz and Kemeny wanted to create a language their students could learn quickly and use on the time-sharing system, which allows several users to run their programs at the same time on one processor. And obviously it was a fundamental language towards understanding and learning the languages that we know and use today. Even though, granted, many of them are quite different, they generally share a lot of similarities between each other, and I actually started coding with BASIC along with Java and JavaScript and HTML, so sue me, but I happen to know a little bit, not a lot. So don't count me as a certified expert on it, because I'm not in anyways, but you guys probably are, at least one of you, not all of you, because, well, who wants to learn BASIC? It's kind of basic. And finally, on this day in 2000, the US government removes selective availability from its global positioning system, improving the accuracy of civilian GPS devices from 100 meters to 20 meters. Now, you might be wondering, well, why was this significant? What's this selective availability? Well, See, the government was concerned that somebody might hack into the systems and then try to locate a civilian to either drop a nuke or shoot a missile at them or figure out where they are so they could wreak havoc on their lives. So what selective availability did is it basically scattered the signal. So they said, well, it's accurate within 100 meters. Good luck. So when this proposition came about, selective availability was disabled, and it's still disabled, and improved accuracy to within 20 meters. Thank goodness for that to some regard. So, with that out of the way, let's head on over to today's tech news. Alright, our feature story today is, well, our Kickstarter project, and for now, you can finally listen in as to why I couldn't do a show every single month for, well, every single day, at least weekday, for most of April and probably part of March, is I was working on this project, this Kickstarter project. I'm super excited to announce this to you guys. I know we have listeners in over 73 countries now. Yeah, so basically, and I gotta stop using that because I saw the word basic and now I'm stuck using it. Thanks a lot, Google. So, yeah. TechNewsGadget. Expand your knowledge. A daily bite of the latest tech, gadget, and gaming news to inspire your day. See, we have a goal going on right now. We have until May 31st, 2019 to reach this goal of $25,000. And you're probably like, Taylor, that's kind of a big ask. Well, what's all coming out of it? Well, see, the best kind of journalism serves the public's interest. Here's the problem. Too many online journalists and publications nowadays have abandoned the core principles entirely and replaced them with clickbait titles, filler content, and being politically correct. And, well, you know this because you click on an article to read it and you go, the title sucked, I got clickbaited, or this filler content is really not interesting things here, or being politically correct and saying, well, I just wanted to find out the news. I didn't want to know that so-and-so was, I don't know, whatever, fat shaming another individual because of what? Make a joke. I don't know. You know what? If you ask them, the journalists and publications who do this, they'll tell you it's to appeal to their audience. But the real reason is, well, because they want to make either their advertisers happy or because corporate wants more revenue. And ultimately, either way you look at it, that hurts you, the reader. My question to you is, why do you have to tolerate that garbage when you can go elsewhere? Here's a solution. We are looking to create an online community where you, the reader, is valued the same as any of our writers and editors. You are looking for news that matters to you, where the journalist digs deep and shares accurate and reliable information that you can trust. Politics, culture, and society have their place, true, but not in the news necessarily that you're looking for. Advertisers and corporate greed aside, all you want is to be informed and to share what you've read with others. There's no reason you should have to wade through pages of boring content riddled with intrusive ads to get to the truth. You matter, and we invite you to join us as we discover the unknown and dig into the curiosity that unites us as a people. So, we have a couple of really exciting rewards going on here. We have a color-changing mug for starters, a exclusive Kickstarter t-shirt that will have our logo on the front and on the back. It'll have a list of the name of all of our supporters on the back of that t-shirt. Yes, if you donate to a certain level, you will have your name published. Well, I think any level, your name will be published on the back. Pretty cool. Have you ever had your name on a t-shirt? Well, now's your chance. Along with that, you'll get subscription codes depending on the level that you donate. You'll get permanent Discord server access to our Discord server community. Also, an exclusive sticker that you can stick on a laptop or computer or your Mac if you want to, along with a weekly chat with me if you wanted. More gadgets and goodies. So, well, the main reason I wanted to do this is because I want to bring this idea to more people. TechNewsGadget has been around for like the past decade, and yeah, we're definitely making an influence and an impact, hopefully, to you and everyone else who's watched or listened or read over the many years that we've had these publications. I know how many because I keep track of all the statistics of people all over the world, and really wanted to create Tech News Gadget as a place where you could feel valued, you could get the information you wanted. It could be a place that you could trust, that you could go and connect with a like-minded community and talk about gadgets and tech news and games. So keep in mind, I don't have any formal training, no degree in journalism, no desire to pursue a Pulitzer Prize. I very, very simply just kind of worked my way into this. And if you've okay, you could even look back on earlier videos of me, and you'll find, wow, Taylor, you're pretty bad. The lighting was bad. You had a camera that sucked. Your audio was very poor. You said too much. I still do, so you can yell at me about that. I don't care. And I, well, didn't know really what I was doing. So this is kind of a product of 10 years in the making, as it were. So if you're wondering, in case, well, what are the funds being used for? Well, out of that goal that we're looking to raise, most of it is going to be going towards an advertising campaign to bring more exposure, bring more of a community back to Tech News Gadget, and create more people you can talk to all over the world who have similar interests and likes when it comes to gadgets, gaming, tech news. We'll also be looking to create a free mobile app. That's a big crux of this entire thing, is it will mirror the website exactly. So if you're on your smartphone, whether iOS or Android, you'll have access to a free mobile app, and obviously the subscription codes that we grant you access to all the behind the scenes features on not only our website but the app as well. But it's still a free app to read tech news regardless. We'll also be looking to hire a couple of writers. We'll also be looking at merchandise and design fees, and obviously the rest of it goes towards Kickstarter fees, because obviously Kickstarter takes a chunk out of that. So if you're interested, I would highly, highly encourage you right now. You have until May 31st, but I would encourage you right now, if you're listening to this, pause the video, the podcast player, go to technewsgadget.net/Kickstarter, watch the video, contribute today, pledge your support. You can become part of our Gadgeteer community with all the perks and everything else that it has to offer. And seeing as how you're watching this video, you're listening, or you're reading, you're here for a reason. You're here because you're interested in tech news, gadgets, gaming. You want to hear what's going on in the world. You want to be informed, up to date, so that you can, not only be educated for your own self, but that you can tell others what's going on in the world and what you know. Well, we're also looking to create a community where you can also talk with other people who have the same interests as you. So if you don't really have that friend group or family group to talk about tech with, or video games or gadgets, well, you'll have one right here at Tech News Gadget. So donate today, pledge today. I'm so excited about all of this. I'm going to be honest, I've never done a Kickstarter project before, but I do know that if this project is not 100% funded, it won't go anywhere without your support. If you don't are unable to support us at this time, hey, feel free to share the message on to friends and family who you think would be a good fit as well. With that, let's move on to the next news story. So, Microsoft's security chief is explaining why the company is eliminating passwords. It's kind of interesting. I covered this a couple of days ago in Microsoft taking the password expiration off of new Windows 10 updates, but this actually goes a little bit deeper. It was 4 a.m. on a night in June 2017. Brett Arsenault, the top-ranking cybersecurity executive at Microsoft, had fallen asleep on top of his cell phone when it shocked him awake with a buzz. A cyber attack, later dubbed NotPetya, had begun locking down computers and shutting down businesses in Ukraine. It first looked like a routine ransomware attack in which companies would have been able to pay to open up their locked computers. But this one was different. It spread lightning fast, like a worm, rather than ransomware, and companies quickly found there are no criminals to negotiate a ransom with at all, leaving them with inoperable hardware and no data. Arsenault quickly jumped on a phone call with staff in Eastern Europe and the US. He demanded his staff shut off access to Ukraine within 10 minutes to stop the malicious software from spreading out of Microsoft locations in that country. The staff said they didn't think they could do it that fast, so he pushed them. It worked. They shut it down. If you do the right thing, they'll say you did your job. If it's the wrong thing, you get fired. It was my team trying not to call chicken little. That's probably the hardest part of the job, to not get overexcited, but not to underreact. You see, Arsenaut might have one of the hardest cybersecurity jobs in the world, being accountable to the board of one of the world's largest tech companies, which supplies ubiquitous products and software that serve most other companies across the globe. Microsoft is one of the most attacked companies in the world, also hit $1 billion valuation, or is that trillion? Something like that. But Arsenaut said the lessons he's learned from NotPetya and the other 6.5 trillion incidents the company sees each year can be used by businesses with much smaller profiles, and even by individuals. Here's the biggest one. Get beyond passwords. See, email-based and password-based hacking underlie everything from the simplest frauds to the most complex, multifaceted hacking campaigns, he said. We all sort of declared years ago that identity would be our new perimeter. People are focused on taking advantage of identity, and it's become a classic. Hackers don't break in, they log in. I see that as a huge, huge thing for us to work on. So, passwords by themselves are useless. And here's something interesting about Microsoft I bet you didn't know. 90% of Microsoft's employees can log on to the corporate network without a password. It's a reflection of the passwordless future Microsoft has touted for years, and backed up by products to move consumers away from memorizing strings of confusing terms. Instead, Microsoft employees use a variety of other options, including Windows Hello and the Authenticator app, which provide other alternatives for logging in, like facial recognition and fingerprints, removing passwords entirely. Now, question for you listening or watching. What do you think? Passwords? Should we get rid of them? Should we keep them? Do you think they're important? I mean, passwords are tagged so much that really kind of the point to go, well, you know what? Screw it. The hackers will have no idea how to brute force attack a password or guess random passwords or do password spraying, trying to figure out how to break or hack or lock in or figure out a way to crack that, when here's something more interesting we have on hand now. Get it? This little device that is on a person's person vast majority of the time, and with it you have more authentication availability and opportunities than ever thought possible. Seriously, if the person actually has important information on there, like security for work or cards or everything, they're gonna make darn well sure they hold on to it. And if it's multi-authentication, just makes it that much more difficult for hackers to break in. I'm not going to go through the entire article, but if you are interested in learning more, hey, click on the show notes for this episode and you should be able to get more into that. Moving on, apparently Spotify's plan for serving you podcast suggestions is shuffling them in with your music. Well, after announcing its pivots to podcasts, Spotify appears to have kind of a wonky idea for how to get you to listen to them. And for those of you listening to this on Spotify who have, or who didn't know, yeah, latest in tech news is on Spotify, so you can look into that. Spotify is currently testing a playlist feature that will shuffle podcasts in with its algorithmically generated music recommendations, The Verge reported on Wednesday. The Verge's Dan Seifert said this playlist is intended for listening during morning commutes, but it evidently has some kinks to work out if it plans to see a wider rollout down the line. He shared some screen grabs of the test on Twitter, said that all the podcasts he saw were in a foreign language, leading The Verge to suspect that the test was surfaced to him by accident, but is being tested in another region. It could also mean that Spotify's algorithms are failing the way that algorithms often do, and is going to take some time to correct itself. The company did not immediately return the request for comment about the feature, but a Spotify spokesperson told The Verge in a statement that it's always testing new products and experiences, but have no further news to share at this time. That the streaming app is tinkering with ways to better surface its growing selection of podcasts, well, makes sense. Spotify acquired a ton of podcast real estate with its purchase of Gimlet, Parcast, and Anchor, and it has big plans to continue expanding its offerings in that arena. The company said last year that it's focused on fueling the discovery of stories, culture, and communities through audio-driven experiences, and it views podcasts as an integral part of that goal, and is willing to spend for it too. So, obviously, it spent $400 to $500 million this year on podcast acquisitions. I think here's what it's trying to do. It's trying to take down the 800-pound gorilla in the room, which is iTunes, and say, hey, we have a better way to listen to podcasts along with everything else. And Apple's going, what? We'll just add a plus to it. Yeah. Let's see if they can figure that out and catch up, because if they don't, well, the 800-pound gorilla might just get eaten, right? Moving on to some gadget news, Huawei's first television could also be the world's first 5G 8K TV. Interestingly enough, Huawei is reportedly working on the first 5G 8K television and could unveil it as early as this year, according to Nikkei Asian Review. The Chinese tech giant, which makes its own 5G chips, would be a newcomer in the television space. Few companies, if any, have floated the idea of a 5G TV, but that kind of connectivity would allow users to quickly download VR and other data-heavy content and watch it on an equally high-res display. Engadget reached out to Huawei, but the company declined to comment. Despite being banned from selling most of its products in the US on national security grounds, Huawei remains popular in Europe and Asia, so good for you guys if you live in those regions, and the poor United States are just going to have to sit here and suffer with 5G 8K-less TVs for the time being. The company overtook Apple in 2017 as the world's second largest smartphone maker in terms of shipments, next to Samsung. As sales of Samsung phones and iPhones began to slump, Huawei keeps growing. But Huawei's global success has run into some obstacles, largely thanks to US authorities, so it's still bouncing that idea around. While 8K television broadcasts are rare, 4K televisions are quickly becoming standard, which means TV makers are looking towards the next big thing. The next PlayStation is expected to support 8K resolution. Samsung and Sony have both begun selling 8K televisions, despite 8K content being still relatively rare. And we actually took a look at Samsung, looking at its 8K television, which costs an eye-watering 70 grand. And well, while 8K may be too pricey for the average consumer currently, it's only a matter of time. As more households buy smart home appliances that run on 5G, a connected smart television becomes a useful hub. As VentureBeat notes, the Huawei 5G TV could serve as a router for other devices as well. More TV news in the gadget arena. Samsung apparently unveiled a vertical TV for viewing Instagram. Okay, I'm going to preface this by me saying this is my opinion, but sounds like kind of a dumb product, but okay, we're going to capitalize on this moment. Samsung has announced an unusual new TV that's designed for the millennial generation. It's a 43-inch vertical screen that's optimized for viewing the same social media content you enjoy on your phone. In case, you always wanted to browse your Instagram feed on the big screen, see, that was the one main problem. Like, oh yeah, I want to see it. I want to see the Instagram video, but I want to see it bigger. So like, could I get like a TV? I'm gesturing here. A TV, but then do this to it? And then, yeah. Okay. Like, we really need it. But it's real. The TV is called the Zero, which translates to the vertical in Korean. It features a simple mirroring function that lets you synchronize your mobile device display with the TV via NFC. Since many photos and videos captured on smartphones and shared on social networks these days are in vertical, aka portrait orientation, and none of you clowns can figure out how to do it in landscape mode, the Zero allows those photos and videos to be enjoyed on the full vertical screen, perhaps with even room for comments on the bottom. And here they are posing with it. What's more, if you'd like to view anything in conventional landscape orientation, you can easily rotate the screen on the stand. So here's some photos to go along with it. If you're interested, the Zero will be released in Korea at the end of May 2019 with a price tag of about $1,600 US, and in Korean dollars, 1.89 million. No word on yet or if or when it'll be sold in the US or how much it would cost outside of the US. So we shall see. And if you're like wondering, hey, there's photos that go along with this. Are you recording a video? Yeah, recording this as a video right now. If you want to catch the video of this entire show, head on over to youtube.com/TechNewsGadget and click that subscribe button so you can get all the video goodness. Although if you're listening in the podcast app, you also have the option to click on the show notes, tap on the article link, and it'll take you right to it, and you can have all the photos and video fun you want. So, moving on. In case you didn't know, apparently there's this big, huge controversy going on in the gaming world. Apparently Epic Games, creators of Fortnite, is buying the studio behind Rocket League, and something just happened to my eyebrows. I feel like they just popped off. So if they did, let me know in the comments section. If they didn't, an idiot. Epic Games is in the process of acquiring the studio behind one of the most popular cross-platform games out there, Rocket League. The studio behind Fortnite is buying Psyonix for an undisclosed amount and bringing its 132 employees on board. There doesn't appear to be a ton changing at the San Diego game studio. Epic says the company will continue to support the game on all platforms. The real competitive advantage seems to rely on Rocket League coming to the Epic Game Store in late 2019 and ceasing new downloads on Valve's Steam store at that time, though Epic specifically notes that users that have already downloaded the title on Steam will continue to have support. The whimsical title has been an unlikely smash success. Get it? Because it's Rocket League. Currently, Rocket League has more than 57 million players. Epic owning two of the biggest cross-platform gaming titles is obviously a major boon to the company and a sign that they're committed to ensuring that the studio's success continues long after Fortnite downloads diminish. This is one of their most important acquisitions to date and brings a cash cow exclusive to their game store, which is continuing to aggressively pursue exclusive as it tries to take down Valve, one of gaming's biggest powerhouses. And you knew this was coming, and if you're all up in arms about the whole entire controversy, who cares? This is businesses. This is doing what they do. This is what the market does. This is what people demand, and kind of duke it out, winner take all. See, and the problem is not that, well, they're ripping off Steam of an exclusive or a cross-platform thing that worked really well for Steam, and Epic Games is, has this like god complex going on. And I want to, own all of these exclusives and put them on my platform. The thing is, right now, Epic Games has a lot more going on behind the scene than many people realize, and it has a lot bigger goals than a lot more people realize, and the way that they're going about it and the way that they're doing it, actually kind of interesting. I haven't seen a fresh take on this industry in quite some time, and Epic Games is the first one to shake it all up. They literally went from an indie studio to a AAA rated game developer, and they just off of a game that's still in beta, or has it come out? Early access? What is it? Fortnite. Yeah, that game. The one where everybody's currently, EA is struggling currently trying to figure out how do we get these AAA rated game publishers, why are they doing so bad and so poorly on so many games? They can't release something right, but they do down the road, or it's broken entirely and it's stupid, or we try to overlay money grabbing mechanisms over on top of it and then wonder why it's not a cash cow. It's like, yeah, Epic Games stepped in and said, hey guys, check it out. This is how you do business here. And they're cleaning up, bringing a nice, fresh new take, in my opinion, that I think to it. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Are you all upset by this acquisition? It's bound to happen. Businesses do this all the time. It's not that big a deal. Apparently it is to some. If it is a big deal to you, I'd love to hear your opinion on it. We could have a discussion on it, and if you agree with me, let me know, because it feels like I'm talking into the void right now. I can't be the only one who has this opinion. I mean, businesses have been doing this since forever. It doesn't even matter if it was the gaming industry or not. Something will always come along that's better than what is currently the status quo. In this case, Epic Games is shaking up a large portion of, what the heck? How do you go from indie to AAA rated big league, big studio releasing, now causing problems in other industries related to gaming and video games? Yeah. A lot bigger is going on behind the scenes than you think. It's just business. So, let me know your thoughts. And finally, I thought we would take a look at a Kickstarter project that I was looking around and browsing at. One idea that I had now that this Kickstarter project of our own has been launched, and by the way, go ahead and support it. I would love to see you guys join the community and get some awesome merchandise to go along with it. You'd be an exclusive, one of a very few couple individuals who have merchandise to go along with TechNewsGadget. So I was actually thinking, in that train of thought, Kickstarter has some really awesome gadgets, games that come out every so often. I've covered a couple months back, or then some on the show. Always like the ones that stand out and bring a new take to a gadget or a problem with a new solution. This is one of them. It's called Antstream. It's a retro gaming reborn, the first streaming platform for retro gaming available on PC, Mac, Xbox One, and mobile devices. Currently probably pending on mobile devices, but they seem fairly certain on the rest of them. Currently, they do look like they have reached their goal. A whole bunch of backers, and they have a video that goes along with it. I won't be playing the video today, but what is AntStream? Well, you can play AntStream games on any supported device with an internet connection, PC, Xbox One, mobile, and tablet. Click and play. All you gotta do, install the app, create an account, pick a game, and play. No extra download. There's a large library of retro games, 2,000 games already licensed, more to be added over time. Multiple versions of a game are supported, from Spectrum to arcade to C64. You see, AntStream has a huge library of licensed and carefully curated classic games available to play on demand. It has never been easier to play. No downloads, no fiddly emulators, instant streaming. AntStream also adds a unique twist with exclusive challenges, allowing you to compete against your friends and a global AntStream user base. The service will initially be available in North America and Europe on PC, Mac, Xbox One, and Android devices. iOS should follow soon once approved by Apple. They do have a pledge rewards go along with it, free subscription codes to go along with it, founder titles in Discord, founder title in the AntStream interface. So a lot of fun, a lot of interesting games. So what do you think? You like this campaign project idea? I mean, it's going to be happening. AntStream will be happening. It's a team of retro gaming enthusiasts that passionately believe games should be as accessible as music and movies. And if you're not careful, it could be big down the road. You never know. An indie title, like I was just talking about with Epic Games, goes from nobody knows about it to everybody knows it and becomes mainstream pop culture reference used in movies, television shows, all over the place. So keep that in mind. Go take a look. Let me know what you think. And if this appeals to you, go ahead and show them your support by sending them a message or monetarily supporting them. And with that, that wraps up this episode of the latest in tech news. Thanks for tuning in, guys. New episodes every weekday. The latest in tech news can be found on every major platform, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, YouTube, Stitcher, Overcast, and Facebook Watch. And if you enjoyed this episode, let us know by clicking that like button down below, leaving a comment, and double check that you're subscribed so that you don't miss the next episode. I'm your host, Taylor Merrick. Remember, for the latest in tech, gadget, and gaming news, visit TechNewsGadget.net. Pretty much keep being awesome, guys, and I'll see you on the flip side.